Everybody, my name is Bruce. I am from Team Wolfpack, and I'm here to do a Thunder Dragon deck profile, pure Thunder Dragon deck profile. So let's get into it, right?
Yeah.
All right, great.
What you got?
So let's see. So starting off with 3 OG Thunder Dragons, really good in the deck, very important. So then we got 3 Thunder Dragon Hawks. These are really good too. They're a monster reborn of the deck. 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Dark. Pretty good even going on your opponent's turn. You can just activate it and recycle. Shuffle up another copy. Lots of plays. 3 copies of Thunder Dragon War. I got 3 copies of Matrix. 2 copies of Duel. Really good card. You can search it out with a spell, and you can just summon it by banishing any of these light and darks. So good, and it adds 2 if you destroy a monster by battle. So very useful. 3 copies of Battery Man Solar. He's really good. He's the best card in the game. Best card in the deck. And he goes well with Hawk. So you can have a big board when you have those 2 cards pop off. 2 copies of Aloof Lupine. Also really good card. You can essentially get Dark and Roar to pop off in one turn at the same time. So pretty good. And then if he gets destroyed, he can add a banished monster from banished to hand. So he's pretty useful. Well, these are my only normal summons besides Matrix. So I like him because he's like an Armageddon Knight, and he generates a token. And then him, I could play 3. I've seen a lot of people play 3, but I'm at 41 cards, so I was like, all right, maybe just 2 is fine. Because you can make big boards with this guy. Him, not so much, you know? Him, you can just make small little boards, but they're good, but I like this better. So you can definitely bump it up to 3 and 2, or 3 and 3. It's all preference.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2 copies of DD Crow. This is my call for cards like Orcus, because there's a lot of Orcus players here, and also it's pretty good against other decks too. You can play against a Sky Striker, you can banish the Ray, or Sally, you can just banish the target, whatever they're trying to summon, and definitely Orcus.
How do you feel about Dimension Shifter?
Dimension Shifter, is that the monster, right?
Yeah,
which one?
Hand Trap.
The hand trap. That's it's good. But you have to open it, 100%. You have to open it if you're going first or second. But it's definitely not I tried it and it was really good because at the time Orcus was very mermaid format. Orcus was really played, so Shifter was very good. But now not so much probably because we have a lot of Thunder Dragon players too. So if anything, Shifter kind of helps Thunders. Because God forbid, if you go against the mirror, but without a question, it's a good card. But I think it's more of a side, than a main.
Okay.
We have 2 Ash Blossoms. Pretty good. Can't say much about it.
Yeah, it's Ash.
Yeah, it's Ash. 1 copy of Thanos, because that's the only copy I can afford. But it's been working out. I draw it a lot. If I own 3. That's all that matters, yeah. 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. These are my Pot of Greeds. So good, especially when you have when you have a dark in your hand and you're resolving this. It's basically drawing 3. It's pretty explosive. 2 copies of Fusion. It's important. It comes up the 2nd copy. Most of the time I can just recycle the 1st one, but there are moments where I would search for this, and then I would not add this back from the banished with Roar. But 2 comes up. 3 is too much, but 2 is good.
Okay.
1 Ghost Sarcophagus, one of the best cards in the deck. banishes any card you want, and then 2 standby phases, you can add it back from the banish to the hand, which rarely happens. But if it does, then you should be in a winning position. One order. This is like this surprises a lot of people because a lot of people don't anticipate this, but I mean it. It's really good, especially against like going second cards, like mind control or anything really. Ios is a good card. It kills everything but Super Poly.
Has it ever like jammed you up?
No.
You flip it up. You can't use your lore. You can't use the Thunder Fusion.
No, not really. It hasn't. It has not. It's because most of the time I'll resolve all these and then set this and just take it from there. It's a good card.
Okay.
I think you should go to 3.
Asking for way too much.
Too much, right?
Way too much,
It's
man.
Christmas, man. Christmas is on. I want that at 3. 2 copies of Dynamiscus. It's a really good card. It banishes anything. You can banish anything? Yeah, anything. Any face-up card. So that's kind of like my answer to Mystic Mind. You know, if people mean it, or it's my answer to anything. And also, if you activate a trap, you can summon it from the grave. So she brings out an extra body on board for like my high-level monsters, who I can just tribute and summon. So it's pretty useful. She's been pretty good. 2 copies of Crackdown. This was really good against the Orcus matchup because I'm going first with this deck, right? So I'll just essentially take Crackdown and then take their Galatea and then turn it into like a Dingritsu, and it's just good. It's a snatch steal basically, right? It's a snatch steal but in trap. So snatch steal is good. So Crackdown is good too.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
3 copies of Infinite Impermanences. These are really good. It's really good. You can use it. You can use it on your opponent's turn from the hand. You just use it from the hand. It's such a good card. And that's about it with the main deck. I main 41 cards in the deck. It's been good. We could bump it up to 42 if you want, but 41 is fine.
Okay.
We're gonna go to my extra deck, right? So let's do that. So for my extra deck, I made 1 Link Karibo. Pretty good when you make the token, or when you have the Matrix, right? You can just turn it to Link Karibo. It's a good card. Like the best Karibo in the game. 1 Borlo Dragon, that's really good against the mirror, and it's probably like my only out for Avermax. Like Avermax with the Ib, it's really hard for Thunder Dragons to get over, so they'll have to just steal it, you know. So it's a really good card, really good. When they Gritsu, I do run 2 level 8s. I run a lot of level 8s, so I can make this without the Crackdown, you know, without taking the Galatea. But if I do, I can just overlay it. Pretty good stuff.
I'd say so.
Yeah. 1 Gustav Max per game. So this is a burn card. You burn for 2,000 life points when you detach 1, I think. Yeah, 1. So if I were to just like somehow attack with 2 Titans, that's like 64, and then you overlay the Titans and then you burn for game. This comes up a lot.
It's pretty card.
It's also good in time. 1 Masquerina, she's pretty good. She only makes Unicorn, but I mean Unicorn on your opponent's turn is pretty good. It doesn't sound like much, but it's pretty good. Appalooja is good too. If you open up the Godlike combo with the Battery Man and Hawk, you could essentially end with Appalooja with 3 negates and a Colossus. 1 Summoner, really good card. Very rarely I use the second effect. The second effect is you discard a card and then you summon a Thunder monster from graveyard to where it points to. Very rarely I use this, but I have used it and it's helpful. It's a good card. 1 Unicorn, really good. Shuffles a card in the deck. 1 Nightmare Phoenix. My outs to like Floodgates or anything. 3 copies of Colossus. Again, one of the best cards in the deck. The MVP of the deck. It just tells your opponent that you can't add cards, but I can. And if it gets destroyed by battle or by card effects, you can just banish a Thunder monster instead to save it, which is really good. For 80 bucks at the time, it better do what it does. 3 copies of Titan. Now, there's a lot of decks that play 2, but I play 3. 3 does come up, especially in the grind game. When you're like in a couple turns later, the Titan recycles all your Colossus. It can recycle all your Thunder monsters, Thunder Dragons, so it does come up a lot. And it's so good that you're able to like pop cards in your opponent's turn. It's just very useful. You can pop so many things. It's like a Dryden, but like on steroids, right? And if it gets this, if you like Raigeki or something like gets destroyed by card effect, you can just banish 2 cards instead of Thunder Dragons. So pretty useful. And yeah, that's it. For the side deck, I have 3 Dark Rule No More. This is for combo or like the mirror. So when people like want to do triple Colossus Pass or Colossus Titan, like this is good against the mirror or like Pendulum decks, right? So Pendulums will have like 10 negates pass. This beats it.
I do 30 for the lot.
Then you have, I have 2 Cosmic Cyclones, really good against like Orcus or Salad. You can just banish the field spell, or you can just banish like anything. Ingredients can't protect it.
Which one?
So it's a good card.
These are 10.
3 copies of Lancia. That's for the not artifacts. The Orcus. The Orcus match is good.
Right.
Or anything that banishes like Bonju decks too. They just pass. I play 3 Kaijus. These level 7s, and this because it's Thunder, so I can search it with Thunder Dragon Fusion, and then these 7s because one it's a level 7, so if I fail to like destroy their Kaiju, they can't overlay it because most of the time they can't make rank 8 plays, so that's why it's a level 7.
That's
so they,
smart.
Yeah, that's why, and it's not that bad. 24, 25, I can get over it. Even if you put in defense, right? Like Gamasuke is 3,000. It's pretty hard, you know.
Right.
And it's a level 7, so they can't make they won't make rank 8 plays. It's good against Sky Striker too. I do that a lot in Orcus. Anyways, for back row heavy decks, 2 red reboots. Pretty good. When you activate this, make sure you kill your opponent because
I don't like that card.
yeah, a lot of trap decks don't like that card. And then 2 enemy controller. This we could switch up to mind control. My last round, game 2, I had this in my hand, and he had a Colossus and a monster, right? If this was mind control, I would have taken it and I would have just popped off. But I mean, enemy control does have its perks. You know, you can attack with the monster, right? And you can do it on battlefield, so it's a quick play. But
Absolutely.
it's a good card.
My side deck choices. I side in 3 Kaijus. These are good going second cards, so you probably side out the traps I main, like the Dynamiscus and Crackdown. So I would side those out and put in those Kaijus, maybe with something else too, and for my side deck. Lancias are very good against Orcus and Banish. I side in 3, by the way. You know, it's pretty easy for me to side out the traps for the Lancias, you know. It's like, boom. You can even side out the DE Crows, too, for the Lancias, because you Lancia, you can't DE Crow. You know, you can't Banish or something. So, Dark Rule Remorse is really good, I feel. You know, and those are cards you can just side out, like, whatever. You know, you can side out the Crows if it's against Pendulum. You can side out the traps because you're probably most likely going second, you know, and those traps are dead. You know, because you have to set them. So, good stuff. Dark Rule War is a good card. Actually, my when I played at the 3v3, I set it in artifacts. The artifacts, and it was really good. Actually, it was just way better. I don't know. I think I took out. I forgot what it was. I think it was an enemy controller and even maybe the red reboot. I forget what was my what were the cards I cited out to put in the artifact engine. But it was really good though. It was really good. I recommend the artifact engine. You know, like 3 sanctums and the 1 scythe that ends the turn. And you can even have, I even set it in like trap trick, right? So I can essentially I'm running 4 sanctums, you know, when you run trap trick. But yeah, those are great. I just need to pick those up, and then from there I'll just decide what to take out from my actual side deck.
That's it. That's all I have. So yeah, shout outs to Team Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Yugi Goons. Shout outs to Bemani Lounge. Shout outs to Femi, all those people, and shout outs to everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right.